Greetings and welcome to another bead haul for Odin's Bead Haul. It's been a while, and you've probably seen other YouTubers do this one. So a company called NBeads approached me and asked if I wanted to do a review and a tutorial project for them. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? So NBeads is basically like an eBay shop, but on a website. It's based in China. It's got a wide variety of things, a lot of beading, but also a lot of general crafts and other storage items and some random stuff. There's nail art, there's resin supplies, and what have you. I was provided with a budget and got a bunch of things based off of that budget. So the first thing you might notice on the website is that there's two main categories. One of them is the wholesale account, or the wholesale theme, and the second one is the small orders thing. The only difference between those two is basically the quantity that you order. So if you are looking for something to like make your stock for a craft show or something, you want the wholesale one, and if you're just like a hobbyist or just want to try out some products, the small orders is the one that you want to go with. Now, this is a great website for beginners and people who don't have a lot of money to spend on crafts, because you can get quite a bit for your money. And I shop on eBay places like this, so it's not too unexpected for me, and I wouldn't direct you to a place that I wouldn't shop at myself. But just do use your best judgment as what you're buying. Basically, you get what you pay for. They did have a few name brand things, such as the seed beads, and they did have a variety of crystals, including what they labeled as Austrian crystal. And the prices are comparable to name brand things, but I'm not sure about them, and I didn't get it for the project that I was working with. But anyway, it does take a little bit of time, but this one came to me in about 2 weeks, so I was pretty happy with that. I got like the second to lowest shipping option, which was like USPS. The only thing I do want to mention about the shipping is everything is measured by weight, so it does rack up pretty quickly. Like, the shipping that I got took about 1/3 of the budget that I was given, so that's just something to keep in mind. But the rep that I was talking to was also pretty nice and communicative and responsive, so I appreciated that. I'm not too sure about their returns policy or their timing with everything, so keep that in mind, especially when it's an international website. Their policies might be a little constrictive because like international shipping is ridiculous these days. But anyway, let's get into what I've got. Alright, so I'm going to go over the general crafting things that I've got. If you've been following my Instagrams and my Facebook page, you'll know that I've gotten into bead embroidery, and a specific kind of bead embroidery. I've been getting into making burlesque pasties, and I've been having a lot of fun in it, so I figured I would get some things that would improve the designs and help me with my workload. So I got some cup chains. They had a variety of styles. I got these in a pack, and actually you get a pretty reasonable length for this. And the crystals in here look really shiny and nice. But they're really shiny, they're really pretty, and yeah, I'd be looking forward to using those. It came in a variety pack, and you don't exactly have the choices of colors, but that didn't bother me because I can keep these on hand. So I got a very pretty sky blue in this pack, a pink, and a blushy champagne-y kind of color, which is really pretty. And another thing on the general crafting, I wanted some really pointy, really sharp shears for my embroidery so I can be really accurate with my designs. So I picked these out, and let's just see what the blade is like. Those look hella dangerous. So, yep, and that tip is really nice, so I can really get in there that is what I got for the general crafting. They have a lot of resin supplies, so if you're looking for molds or those bezels or whatever, I got a few things. I got 2 sizes of spherical molds because I wanted to make those little landscapes and like sky, planetary things, so I got 2 sizes of that just to see what they work with. And with their molds, they usually come in packs of multiples, so they're pretty decent for the price that you get, or for their price. So, these are very nice silicone molds. The seal looks pretty good, and there's a little fill hole at the top. They also had some UV resin, but I didn't have the budget to try that out, so, because I've never tried the Japanese or the version of UV resin, so I was curious to try that out, but I didn't get the opportunity to. So, I got a biggin size for pendants, and I got a littlein size, probably also for pendants. And I got 2 of those bezels. I've seen these bezels around a lot of the crafting channels that I see, and I wanted to have some. And I picked out 2 of the most appropriate ones for me. So I got these little adorable dragons. Well, they're not little. These are actually quite large, and I think this is a pack of 5. So that is definitely worth it. There's little spikes in here, like little scales over there. There's some areas that are filled in, but it looks like it's got little spines around it, and that's cute. So, and then, of course, rose gold, which is one of my favorite things. And I got little baddies, which I am super excited for, and this came with a lot of them. So little tiny bats, and the hole is on the top, so it looks like it's hanging and doing flappies, which is adorable. And this one is a lot smaller, so you don't have too much color variation with that. But they had all sorts of themes and very fun stuff. And one random thing, they had a lot of nail art supplies there, and they had some stamping plates for very cheap, so I grabbed one of those just to see what it's like. And the imprinting looks okay. It doesn't look too deep though, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I got some very pretty lacy patterns to try out. And yeah, so that was my little random purchase. So onto the beading and jewelry stuff. I got a few things. They had several brands of seed beads. They were at a really good price. They also had Miyuki, which they were priced about as what you'd expect them to, so I didn't pick any of those up. But they had Toho beads and a Matsuno, and then I can't remember what this brand was, but I'm really happy with the quality of these. Like, this was 50 grams, and I think it was like $2. These are size 11s, and if you look at them, they're very even. They're very nice. These ones look a little more round, which is kind of cool, actually. It probably gives like a little bit more texture than regular seed beads that are more cylinder shaped. But I really, really like these, and I probably will get more of these, because if they're this quality and they're cheaper, that's awesome. They do have a limited quantity of colors and variations on it, though. And they do have size 15s as well. Just very fewer of those, because they're harder to manufacture and stuff like that. So I think this was like an FGB brand. I don't remember. They had this one. They had Matsuno, which I grabbed the size 15s from. And these are tiny. These are tiny size 15, so I'm not sure if I can use them, but I got this really pretty matte royal blue. Oh, well, actually looking at them, they're not too bad. These are more cylindrical shaped, so they kind of look like Delicas a little bit. So these might be good replacements. They look really evenly cut and really nice. And I think this was like $1 or $2 for 20 grams. That's really reasonable. Get back in there. And I like the packaging. The packaging is really cute. And then they had Tohos, which I got a couple of very pretty colors. I got this milky white, and then I got this milky gray to compare to mine that I already have. So let's just check that out. So these ones are a little darker here. These also might be Miyuki's. Yeah, these are Miyuki's, so they're not exactly the same. But they're still very pretty. They're opally, they're like a champagne-y line instead of this one, and I think this one is more of a gold lined. But they're still useful, and they're still really pretty. You get 10 grams of these, so not as much, but still pretty useful for like pendants or small bracelet chains, I think would be good for that. I got a big thing of jump rings, and I really like the way this is organized and stored because it's a pain. And one thing I wanted to test out, oh, that's awesome, we've got the individual sections here, because jump rings are just essential. Who doesn't use jump rings? One thing I wanted to test out was the durability and the softness of the rings, so I'm going to try out one of those. Is this taped? Yes, this is taped. Let's try this out. Ooh. This coating is also really shiny and really nice, so I am grateful for that. Ooh, these are nice and solid. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I like that. These are nice and rigid, so I would be happy using those, and I'd feel confident using those in my projects. That's nice and awesome. Let's try one of the bigger sizes, because those tend to get softer. I'm going to try this one, because it's a thinner gauge, what it looks like. Let's try that. These ones are a little softer, but the larger ones tend to be that. This is a thinner gauge, I think. So that'd be good for like pendants or drops or something that with a thick hole that... like a thick base so that it doesn't fall out like in regular seed bead, like seed beads or your threads for a beaded project. I'm going to try the biggest one because this is a thicker gauge. Oh, that's nice and solid. That is nice. Okay. That is good. So I'm really happy with these, and I think I paid like $3 for it for a buttload. I am very appreciative for these, and they have nice and tiny ones that I could use for my clasp ends. This is good. I like these a lot. Then I bought some crystal drops, or I think these are glass, but they're faceted glass, but they're really pretty. They're kind of nice and shiny. I'm gonna take a look at that. This is what I like about this, is all the packaging too. It's very neat. It's very nice. And this was also all loaded in a really thick, tight, compact, thick layer of bubble wrap, so I was glad for that, and I was definitely impressed by the durability of that, so I wasn't afraid of anything breaking or things like that. So I'm going to try... Oh, that's tight! My pliers. There we go. So, ooh, those are nice and shiny. That is a hefty strand, too. This is like, I don't know, 16-inch strand, 14-inch strand. You get a lot with these, and I just needed drops, so I got a bunch of those, and these are very nice. Then I wanted to check out their cubic zirconia. The cubic zirconia really gets a bad rap. It's nice and shiny to me. I really like them. But I got these little rounds, and I don't know, these look appropriately shiny, but I'm not too sure about them. So maybe if I check them out of the pack... Oh wait, no, those are pretty shiny. On camera they are especially shiny, so it's probably the light that needs to be showing on them, but wow, that looks really pretty on camera. In person, they're kind of but yeah, maybe it's like the different light that shows, because holy crap. And the last thing in the general crafting stuff was kind of a miss for me. They have multi-packs of glass Rivolis, and they're appropriately sparkly. You can tell the difference between that and name brand ones, but if you're looking to practice, or if you're just wanting something, if you're just on a budget and you don't want to get name brand, these might be a good option, but I am noticing there are a lot of chips. Especially with the back, this one was kind of broken. It's a very pretty color, though. That's really nice. I've got some cobalt, got a nice gold. Some of these, but this one kind of has more chips on it. Some of the cuttings, like this one, is really thick compared to this one, which is really thin. So there are a lot of differences in here, but they're good for practice, or they're good for just basically if you want something in your stash to play with. That's what I got, and like the price wasn't the price was definitely there too. It was like $1, or actually I don't think it was even $1 for these. And they do have bigger packs of them, of like 20 and 50. So if you just want some stash fillers, that's a good option. And finally, we have the selections for the project that I was going to make a tutorial from. Got a bunch of good little goodies for that. My theme was rose gold and green teals and maybe grays, I don't remember. But they have a lot of these rondelles that I wanted to try out. I don't use rondelles very often, so this is kind of a good chance to practice. These are 4 by 3 millimeters, I think. Fairly tiny, but I got this really pretty opaly color. And yeah, just like this nice milky opaly glass. They're very pretty. You get a lot for the price too. This is probably another 16-inch strand. It's very pretty and very useful. And I got another pack of Toho beads in a rose gold color. These are size 11s. And yeah, those are very pretty, and I just love this packaging. It's so cute. And I got jump rings because it is very hard to find rose gold jump rings. So I was very glad to get those. Does this even have a pull tab? I want to check out the strength of these too, because these are on the thinner side. And these are good too, because if you want to practice chainmail or something, yeah, these are a little on the softer side, especially for pendants and drops and stuff. And I always double up anyway when I make my clasp, so if one fails, the other one's there to catch it. But yeah, I got that one. I got some crystal drops, which actually I think these are faceted glass. These are... So another decently sized strand, quite sparkly. They're quite sparkly. The cuts are probably a bit on the sharp side, and they're kind of uneven, so just be aware of that, but still very pretty, still very useful. I like those. Then I've got these ones, which are adorable as fuck. These are just the teeniest, tiniest rondelles that I have ever seen. I think these are 2mm by 3mm. They are just so tiny, and I'm not going to cut them out because there's some loose here, and I don't want to make a mess. But these are very pretty aquamarine ones. Those are cute. I also got a strand of these gray ones, which are kind of... I think there's a little bit of a finish to them, which is like a silvery... Like picture AB, but just silver. So... These are nice. I think these are another 4mm by 3mm or some sorts. I got 2 different kinds of bicones. I got these, which were marked as check glass. And from here, the facets look really good. They look really shiny. I think these are the check glass ones that I got. So they might be Preciosa or something along those lines. They're just listed as check glass, so I don't know for sure. But they're very nice looking. And I also got the regular glass ones, which these are as expected. Sometimes these are larger than 4mm. The cuts aren't as even, but they're still very shiny, still very pretty, and useful, especially if you want to practice on different projects. There is that. And then they have a selection of gemstones, which, you know, you kind of get what you pay for with those. I got what was called Dragon Vein Agate, so I'm going to take a look at those, what they look like. They're also nicely packed in bubble wrap, so they don't clink around. And let's see. Very bright blue. Ooh, these are actually really pretty. I like this one better because it's more transparent, but this one's kind of nifty too. I don't know, I think I might end up using this one, or even saving it. Because I like, this one kind of goes more with the theme that I'm working with. But these are quite pretty. And an appropriate size for what I want to do for. So what I'm thinking about is doing like a pendant. Just like a main focal piece that's kind of long. And then doing a chain that links everything together. So that's just kind of my brain waves right now. And then to match it, I got a couple of rose gold magnetic clasps. These are very, very pretty. and very useful, and they're sticking together. They can't stay away from each other. Alright, that was it for this haul. It's quite a bit for what I was budgeted for, so I'm really happy with what I got. It's exactly what I expected, and the order was accurate, so I'm pretty happy. Did I even say that? I'm not sponsored, they just offered to send me product. This is my haul, and basically they have just a lot, so if you have just a day to chill and look through everything, you will probably be stuck there for hours in a loop of just crafting madness and inspiration, so I recommend that you check them out. But with all that being said, I think that will do it from me. Be sure to like up this video and subscribe if you want to see more bullshit from me. Check out all of my other shenanigans right here on YouTube and everywhere on the social media internet places. Be sure you are subscribed and ring the bell thingy because I go live on random occasions. I don't have a schedule for that, so if you want to know when I am live, be sure to tick that bell because it'll tell you exactly when I am live. And yes, and thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. You guys are awesome, and if you all want to support me and get random tutorials once per month, be sure to check out the links down below to my Patreon page, patreon.com/odins.musings. I am starting this year to move my Skillshare classes over to Patreon, so the designs are going to get a bit more extravagant, and I can tell you that this piece is going to be there eventually, so I recommend you subscribe if you want to make something extravagant like this. So, thank you all so much for joining me, and of course, if there's anything I need to be trying out right now, feel free to let me know down below, and I will see you next time.